Hi, I want to share with you the GTM Playbook that we currently run for our clients. It has generated over $1 million of pipeline value for our clients in the past 12 months. All right, so in very simple terms, we're trying to do three things. Number one, we're trying to expose your brand in front of your target decision makers consistently. In the background, we're trying to track intent signals, and then we're trying to reach out at the right time. So this is really in very simple terms. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty details here. So our playbook consists really of four streams that are all interconnected and almost sequential in nature. So starting with stream one, and what we're doing here is we're obviously building the account list, narrowed down, filtered, enriched. So once we have a crystal clear account list that is exactly fitting the ICP, the first thing we do really is we add this account list and the decision makers within the account list into what we call a warm-up campaign on LinkedIn. So essentially what we're doing is we are sending connection requests from the LinkedIn profiles of your team members to these prospects. And then we're doing some passive actions like viewing their profiles and liking their posts. And we're doing that for about 2 to 3 weeks. All right. Now, the second stream, which is extremely important and running simultaneously as we're sending out these connection requests, is that we're getting your team to be active on LinkedIn, right? So building their personal brand activity. So that would be posting and commenting. And this is where we see the most friction because obviously your team members have to commit to this, and they have to dedicate at least half an hour per day. About half an hour a day should be enough. But really just getting them active on LinkedIn and getting to a pace where they're consistently posting and commenting on other posts on LinkedIn. All right, this is going to be the basis for stream 3. So this step is extremely important. Now, you'll see here there are some signals that we're tracking from this activity. What's going to happen is as your team gets active on LinkedIn, some of the prospects in the target account list will start viewing the profiles of your team members. They will start engaging with their posts. So we're tracking these things in the background and we're feeding them into an outreach campaign that is entirely signal based in that case. I'm going to get to signals in more depth later, but for now, just stay with me here. Okay, so that's stream 2. Now, stream 3, we're essentially looking at LinkedIn ads, and stream 3 is an extension of stream 2. So what we're doing here is we're taking some of the organic posts that your team has done in the past and ones that have generated some engagement, and we start running them as thought leader ads. So this is again another brand activity where we're simply just exposing your content and your brand to your target prospect list. Now, the reason why stream 3 is extremely important is because in stream 1, when we're sending out the connection requests to these decision makers, a percentage of this prospect list are not going to accept your connection request. And when they don't accept your connection request, they're not going to see your content in stream 2. And this is why stream 3 is extremely important, because with an ad, in this case, thought leader ad, we are targeting the exact target account list that we have built initially. And in that case, we're bypassing the acceptance barrier, the connection acceptance barrier, right? So everyone gets to see the ads regardless whether they're a connection or not. We also run some retargeting layers. So for instance, we look at people that have engaged with these thought leader ads from your prospect list, and then we start showing them Loom product videos, as well as conversation ads and lead gen ads. So you'll see here, LinkedIn ads, there's a sequence of its own where we have thought leader ads, which is a brand activity. And then we have product Loom videos, which again is a brand activity. But then we also have a lead gen activity like conversation ads and lead gen ads, where the purpose is really just to generate, interest from those leads. All right. Now we're also tracking signals here from these ads, and these signals are things like the number of impressions that your target accounts are receiving from these ads and the number of engagements. And this feeds into stream 4. So stream 4 is what you would consider as the kind of like the standard outreach sequences that you might run initially if you're doing cold outreach, for instance. But in this case, we're not really going cold outreach because this outreach is based on accounts that have been exposed to our ads. And we typically look at about maybe 5 to 10 engagements per account per month is a trigger for the account to start receiving or start entering this outreach sequence. So we reach out to these prospects on LinkedIn that have been exposed to ads. And then we have these second and third and fourth rounds of outreach. So 5 weeks later, the prospects that haven't responded to the first round of outreach, we reach out to them, but on email this time, not LinkedIn. And then again, 5 weeks later, the ones that don't respond to this outreach, we reach out to them with a third round, maybe with a different angle in the messaging, again on LinkedIn. So basically, we start doing these rounds every 5 to 6 weeks on different channels, but also different messaging angles. All right, so this is our playbook in a nutshell. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about our signals. So we have this universe of signals that we're tracking, and you've seen a couple of these already in the stuff that I explained. So social signals over here, so prospects that view the profiles of your team members or engage with their posts. These are social signals that we're tracking. LinkedIn ad signals is something that I already mentioned as well, like accounts that receive impressions and engagements. But we also look at other signals like the standard stuff that we've had for forever, like a company expanding or funding or headcount growth or someone changed their job. We're also tracking website signals. We're tracking product signals. And we're also tracking third-party social signals. So if your prospects engage with influencer posts or if they engage with any relevant posts, we're also able to fetch that. So this universal signal is something that once we agree on what signals we want to track, because obviously you want to make sure that you're tracking signals that are relevant to your use case and not just tracking signals for the sake of tracking them. But we need to also then here agree on a threshold of signals, right? So we want to understand what combination of signals and what threshold within each signal are we going to be using as kind of like a trigger for high intent from prospect account. So we have that threshold, and whatever accounts that meet that threshold, they are then qualified to basically just make sure that this is fitting our ICP, and in most cases it would be. And then we start adding them to these outreach campaigns. So we would have campaigns that are entirely signal based, like our website visitor campaign or social engagers campaign or paid media campaign. That's it. So this is our GTM playbook in a nutshell.